Hello everybody, we are back. We are going to the queue once again, and we have a little bit longer. Last time I brought you an express session. I played for 1 hour. Tonight I've got plenty of time. Hey everyone, we have the secret weapon in our hands. We have the cold brew, and we are headed to the table. In this session, we're going to start off the first interesting hand. We have King Queen offsuit, and the middle position raises to 7. He's only got $52 in his stack, but he does see 2 callers behind him, and it gets to me. I'm in the small blind, and I'm going to go for the squeeze play. I'm going to make it $40. If he ends up jamming or calling, either way, I'm pretty content to just get this one all in for the extra $12 on the flop. And but I'm happy to pick up the money from those middling hands that are unlikely to call. Surprisingly, everyone calls, and we go 4 ways to a flop with $160 in the pot, and we see King 8-8. So I'm feeling good about where I'm at. I am definitely going to look to get some value, and so I bet $115. There's a chance. I actually don't like this sizing. I think I should have made a smaller bet. I'm looking for value, and if I end up getting called or raised by an 8, I'm not going to feel good about it. So in retrospect, I don't love the 115. I think I should go for a smaller size and target some of the worse hands that are going to be scared to call if I bet big. Anyway, so I go ahead and make the bet. He's the only one to call for $12. He has ace-king, and we are no good. In the next hand, I have pocket queens, about 400 in the stack, and the cutoff has made a raise to $10 and the button calls. I re-raised to $40, and I'm happy to take this one down pre-flop, but also if they're going to call, I'll be more than content to see a flop with the pocket queens. I only get 1 caller. The pot is $90, and when the board comes down 6-7-4 rainbow, he's not going to have like a lot of hands I'm too concerned with other than the sets. He's not going to have 5-8 or anything like that for a straight, but there's going to be plenty of hands we can get value from. Overcards that are not ready to fold, higher pairs, something like 8s, 9s, maybe a 10 that's not going to feel comfortable going for an additional raise pre-flop. So I bet $50, and he does call. That's going to take us to a turn card that also looks even better for us, and that is another 4. When the 4 comes out, that's going to, really we're not too scared. We were already losing to 4s, and it just reduces the combinations that would be in his hand. If he had a set, he's probably raising on the flop, and if he had something like ace-5, he's still just open-ended and can potentially call. So I'm going to go ahead and make a bet of $125 here. Again, I'm targeting mostly the overpairs, some of the like ace-7, something like that. There's a lot of hands we can get value from still. And when I make this bet, he doesn't think for too long before deciding that he's going to fold. And we're okay with that result. We made a decent little bit on our pocket queens. Okay, in this third hand, we have pocket jacks, one of those dreaded hands that you know you're going to play it big, you know you got to be aggressive, but it never seems to go your way. And they say there's no right way to play jacks. Well, the way we chose this time is to raise to $25 from the big blind. We had a bunch of limpers in this pot, so I made a big raise to try to just take it down pre-flop, and if we get called, we're okay. We end up getting called by 3 players, so $100 in the pot. We see 9-5-5 as the board, and so we're going to go ahead and continuation bet pretty big. We're going to be content to take this one down now. We don't really want to see overcards coming out on the turn, and so I bet $75 into the $100 pot, and I get 1 caller. She calls really fast, and she's been playing a little bit on the loose side, so it does have me concerned that there's a 5 out there, and I could be in some trouble. So you can imagine my excitement when I see a jack of spades. And this time, it's one of those rare moments where you consult your shoulder angels, and they actually are going to agree on what to do. All in.
I would put the rest of my chips in.
All right, that in mind, we are going to go for the value, and I decide to bet $90 here. My reasoning is this: I know the money's going to get in if the player has a 5 or a set of 9s for a boat, something like that. And so I'm going to target some of the like pocket 8s and 7s and some of those middling, maybe pocket 10s again that were slow played, something like that. I bet the 90. She immediately raises us all in, and we snap call and take this one down. So nice big pot on that one. Pretty happy with that result. We desperately needed the jack. There is only one correct way to play jacks, and that is to get more than 2 of them. Oh, yeah.
Ooh, that's running hot right there. So hot.
Okay, in this next one, we have the Primo. We've got kings and $1,300 in our stack. We are in the big blind, and I raised to $25 over, again, 3 limpers. Lots of limping in this game, which is a great thing. It just means we play a little bit tighter and we raise pretty big when we come in with the premium hands. And so people have to choose between folding with a lot of dead money in the pot or making the call for a big amount and trying to play a difficult hand knowing that my range is going to be pretty strong. But we do get 2 callers, and so we've got $75 in the pot. And the flop comes down Queen 6-4 with 2 hearts. This is a good result for us. Pretty happy about where this is at. And so I continuation bet for $50, and they think about it for not too long and eventually decide they're going to let it go. All right, in this one we have King Queen offsuit, and I raised to $20 over 2 limps in middle position. Finally a hand where I'm not in the blinds. I've showed you tons of hands in the blinds. I get 4 callers, which is not ideal, but that's how this game's been playing. Again, lots of limps and quite a bit of calling even with larger sizes. So 4 callers, we go to a flop of Queen 6-3 rainbow, and with $100 in the pot and the top pair second best kicker, I'm going to go for a value bet of $60. I end up getting 1 call, and it's from the small blind. And the small blind's been playing more on the snug side, so I'm going to have to give him credit for some queens here, and they could be fairly good. We could be chopping. I've seen him not re-raise with ace-queen and just call with it pre-flop. And so there's potential we're already behind. Now, I don't want to play the hand scared, but I do have to keep that in mind when he calls that, you know, depending on what happens on the turn, we may not want to get too out of line because his other holdings might be something like an ace-6, ace-3, where they have a pair and an overcard. On the turn, we see the 10 of clubs, and this is actually not the best card for us. We were ahead of Queen Jack, Queen 10, Queen 9. The Queen 10 actually is going to now be beating us, and so now we're losing to Ace Queen if he should have it. We're chopping with our hand, and then now we're losing to Queen 10, so we can really only get value from some of the worse holdings, and there aren't as many anymore. So when the river comes down, the 8 of hearts, and we have the option to decide if we want to, after he checks to us, if we want to go for value. I end up making a play that I'm not happy with. I end up checking back, and I just was, at the moment, sensing that he was being trappy. Maybe just a body language thing. I can't even put my finger on it 100%, but he just looked a little too comfortable with where he was at. I think he had a queen, and that's why he looked comfortable. I don't know. Again, there were some worse queens. I think a small value bet was in order, and I believe I missed it there, but that's how I played it. All right, in the last hand of the night, we look down at Ace King of Hearts. We are once again in the blinds. I'm not sure what is going on, but every time we're in the blinds, we are getting dealt good cards. They're not showing up anywhere else, so hey, we'll take them where we can get them, and I go ahead and make a raise to $75 after an initial raise to $20 and then a call on the button. I don't like my sizing. It should be much larger, but it is getting late at night and I misclicked with a tired brain. That is a sign that I need to get going, so this is going to be one of my last hands. We do get 2 callers, so the pot is $225. The flop comes down Queen 6-8 with 2 hearts, so we've got the nut flush draw plus 2 overs, and we're feeling pretty decent about where we're at. I'm happy to take this one down now. My opponents are not being super aggressive, and they've been playing fairly tight, so unless they have a strong queen, they may be calling with any queen here on the flop, but I think pressure on the flop and the turn might be enough to get it done. I go ahead and bet $180 to try to take this down right here, And if I do get called, I have plenty of equity to on the turn and the river to pick up at a later time, or to continue bluffing if it doesn't come through. So I bet 180. He thinks about it for a little while, not too long, and decides he's going to make a call. This is one of those spots where I kind of want to make a game plan. I know I'm going to be betting if a heart does show up, an ace or a king, but if the board does not change, I need to decide what to do. So we go to the turn, and the turn is the 5 of spades. And when the 5 of spades comes down, I've got to think for a second and make a decision about how I want to play the rest of this hand.
But you've worked so hard up to this point. You've accumulated so many chips. Why give them away? Just check. Perhaps you may improve. Perhaps he'll check back. There's no need to be aggressive in this situation.
You're running so hot. How hot? So hot. Shove it. He's not calling.
So we do decide to put max pressure on our opponent, and we do jam all in. If he has something like, say, Queen Jack suited, this isn't going to feel good for him. We're going to be taking this line with aces, kings, queens, ace queens. So there's a lot of good value hands in our range. And he does make the call. We end up getting bailed out by the 9 of hearts. So even when he does call, like I said, we had plenty of equity. We managed to hit it this time, which is fortunate. We scoop a monster pot to finish the night, and that is always a good way to finish up. Feels great. We book a nice big win here, and that's going to do it for this session. Hey everybody, what's up? It is just after midnight. We've just finished wrapping up the session, and we were into that one for $700 and out for $1,900, so $1,200 profit, and we were there about 4.5 hours, so feeling pretty good about how that just went. Hey everyone, thanks so much for watching. Really appreciate you being here. If you enjoyed this and you want to watch some more live sessions, over here you can click, and I've got my one of my recent ones that I've played before this session. And if you don't know who I am, this is the first time you've ever watched, and you want to know a little bit about who I am as a person and what my background is, you can watch this video over here. This gives you the intro to the channel. Thanks for watching, guys. I will talk to you again soon.